In the yogic way of looking at things, there is no such thing as body and mind. There is physical body, there is mental body, there's energy body. The energy body comprises of 72,000 nadis. When we say a nadi, it means a channel or a pathway. Nadi does not mean a nerve. If you cut open this body, you will not see the nadis, there is no such thing physically. But experientially, if you observe the nature of the movement of energy in the system, you will see that it always moves along established pathways, never randomly. So there are 72,000 ways in which it moves. 36 on the right, 36 on the left, 36,000 on either side. The right is called as Pingala, the left is referred to as Ida. These are also referred to as sun and moon. So, these two, Ida and Pingala, or the sun and the moon, the right and the left, on the level of your mind, signify the logical and the intuitive. When I say intuitive, intuition is not another dimension of perception, but just another dimension of computing. If you have the same amount of information within you, if you go logically, there may be 10 steps to get to a place. Intuition means you don't take the 10 steps, you just jump to the 10th step. But today modern education systems, 100% stomping on the intuitive dimension, only the logical is developed. Anything intuitive is dismissed off as mumbo-jumbo. For everything you have to think through. What your grandmothers just knew, today you have to do $1 billion research to find the same thing. When you have to think through everything, and everything seems to have multiple steps, now life becomes stressful. If one wants to be successful beyond a certain point, there are some things where you should be able to jump the steps and arrive at it. Still the same information, still the same stuff. It is just that you don't have to walk through that many steps every time. This makes life very stressful because it is like you're driving your car on two wheels. The other two wheels unused and safe. I don't know for when to be used, but the two wheels that you're using will feel enormous amount of stress. So, in the yogic system, the significance of the intuition is as important as the logical. So bringing a balance between Ida and Pingala is a very important part of living a balanced life. Being able to conduct yourself through complex situations with ease comes only when the intuitive dimension of your mind is sufficiently evolved and developed. Otherwise, small things will freak you because for everything there are multiple steps. Here we'll be doing a few things to bring a balance between Ida and Pingala, to give you an experiential understanding of this. If you take your forefinger, place it beneath your nostrils and gently exhale. Find out in which nostril the breath is dominant right now. How many of you right? Left? Okay, it's either right or left. Only two barrels, you know. If there were 25, how complex it would have been If you observe yourself through the day, you would have noticed that approximately between 40 to 48 minutes, the dominance of the breath will shift from right to left and left to right. Have you ever noticed this? Have you? Why this is happening is, within the system, the dominance of energy, or prana, which is the vital force in the system, is shifting from Pingala to Ida and Ida to Pingala every 40 minutes. Once the energy shifts, within the next 8 minutes, the breath will shift. If you're in a perfect state of health and well-being, it will shift within a few moments, or we can say instantaneously. This shifting is happening every 40 minutes. But during certain times of the day, which are referred to as the Sandhya Kalas, which means the twilight zones, 20 minutes before sunrise, 20 minutes after sunrise. Oh, that's okay, Sadhguru, tell me if there are other times. 20 minutes before noon, 20 minutes after noon. 20 minutes before sunset, 20 minutes after sunset, 20 minutes before midnight and 20 minutes after midnight. 40 minutes at a time, 4 times during the day. There is a certain transition happening. These are called twilight zones or sandhyas, because at this time, the balance between Ida and Pingala shifts very rapidly. Because it's shifting rapidly within yourself, it's very easy to bring it to a balance at these times. To an extent, almost everywhere in the world, any spiritual process or practice means morning, evening. Sandhya has become synonymous with spiritual practice. The time has become synonymous with many practices. So, bringing a balance between Ida and Pingala is important for a balanced development of a human being.
You feel truly comfortable only when you're in balance, in some way. When there's any kind of imbalance, there's a discomfort, isn't it? Yes? When you're experiencing any kind of imbalance, there is discomfort. Only when you attain to a certain balance, you feel really comfortable. So comfort is never really determined by what you're sitting on or where you are. Comfort is determined by how balanced you are within yourself. This basic comfort that every human being must have, unfortunately, has been denied to too many people. Just to sit with total ease in one place is not there in most people right now, isn't it? Simply sitting in ease, complete ease. It is not there. So, when there is no ease, it's a disease. Whether you're medically diagnosed or not, it is a disease. If the disease continues over a period of time, it will manifest itself in the body as a malfunction, which gets labeled as some kind of disease, like incredible names they're coming out with for every kind of problem. The fundamental reason why the system doesn't last its span, it's designed to last its span, but it is not lasting its span because we're keeping it in various levels of imbalance. You drive your car on just 2 wheels all the time, something will break down. So, similarly, the whole system is not being properly kept. There is not enough balance in the system. Only when you're in balance, there is comfort, otherwise there is no comfort. One will not know comfort unless he knows some sense of balance within himself. Only when you're in balance, you can be still. And man is ill. Human beings are ill only because they do not know how to be still. Stillness will not come unless there is proper balance. Only when you're totally balanced, you can be still within yourself, otherwise that will not happen.
The word prana
There is no equivalent word in English, but we can say it's the vital energy. That which we call as the life energy is prana. Prana has 10 different manifestations in the body. But for the sake of understanding, we'll bring it down to 5. These 5 are referred to as 5 vayus or panchavayus. This is pranavayu, samanavayu, udhanavayu, apana and vyana. They're in charge of different dimensions of what happens in this human mechanism. This is an endless subject if I speak like this. I'm just trying to abridge it in a sensible manner. Taking charge of this. Yama means to control or to take charge. Pranayama means a method with which you want to take charge these panchavayus. Because how your body functions, how your mind functions, how the whole physiological framework, this human mechanism, how it functions, is determined by this energy. This is an energy, it is an intelligent energy in the sense it carries a certain amount of memory. The karmic memory of the individual person is imprinted on this energy. So in each person, the prana functions in a different manner. It is unique to each individual. It is not like… it is like electricity. Electricity is not smart. It can light up the the light bulb, it can run the camera, it can, run the air conditioning, it can do million things, but not because of its intelligence. It does the same thing, always. Because of a particular device, a certain thing happens. But now I'm talking about, this will happen in future, that you may have smart electricity. It is not far away. In the next 50 years, you may have smart energy, that the energy behaves in a particular way. You can make it behave in a certain way because you can imprint certain memory upon it. So this is an intelligent energy where a certain amount of imprint is there. Because of that, it functions in a specific manner in an individual person. That is going into an extremely refined form of pranayama where we particularly design something for an individual person because he's in a certain way. For that, to come to that level, it will need a general level of pranayama where it takes care of these 5 vayus. If one has a certain mastery over these 5 vayus, there is no such thing as physical ailment or particularly psychological ailment is out of question. If somebody takes charge of their prana, whatever may be the external atmosphere, whatever influences in terms of reverberations, waves, emotions, other kinds of pressures, doesn't matter what, psychological balance is 100% guaranteed for a person who takes charge of his prana, always. When I say balance, maybe most of you won't be medically considered imbalanced, but a whole lot of people are psychologically imbalanced. Suppose you have a hand. Suppose this hand simply pops up right now. It pokes into your eyes and it scratches you and beats you. If your hand starts doing this, there is a sickness, isn't it? At least your hand is sick. Let me not blame the whole person. At least your hand is sick for sure, isn't it? Well, this is what most people's minds are doing. Every day it scratches you from inside, makes you cry, make you bawl, make you worry. In so many varieties of suffering, it pokes your eyeballs out many times. Is it not doing? It is sick. Maybe in a socially accepted manner, but it is sick. So one who takes charge of his prana can be 100% assured his psychological balance is
there, you cannot shake it. Physiological balance also is there, but physiological ailments may happen due to various reasons. One thing is there are infections and other, organisms who want to live. Yes, they want to live. Another thing is variety of chemicals and poisons and stuff we may swallow knowingly, unknowingly, and it can cause things. So physiological ailment is, I would say, 90% guaranteed that it won't happen. But psychological well-being is 100% guaranteed. If you're psychologically in an extremely good place, 10% of physiological problems are not even a problem, It's not even a problem. Most of the time, what little things that may happen to the body, that's not the thing. What reaction that happens in your mind is the big thing, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. So, pranayama means you want to take charge of the vital forces. As I said, they have an intelligence of their own, each one of them. Either during birth, after conception, how they enter the newborn and how they leave the dead. In this, it clearly displays it has an intelligence of its own. One may not notice this unless they become very conscious about these things. It's a world by itself, if you ask me. It takes a certain level of attention. The word attention may not go deep enough. I'm using the word attention because the other words are horribly corrupted. Awareness and this and that are badly corrupted. So I'm using the word attention, but the word attention is not suggesting what is needed. Just mental alertness is not enough. It has to become really attentive. If you make yourself like that, you know how these five are functioning.
See, there are various movements within the body, as each individual may know this to some extent. If you're a doctor, you think in terms of blood flowing and other, glandular functions happening, which determines your moods and your experiences. But there is something deeper than that. That is, first thing is, the movement of energy, the movement of different vayus in the system, there should be no blockages. So there are vital passages within the body, particularly in the head region. If these passages are blocked, keeping yourself up in an exuberant way is a great effort. So it's in this context, we will spend the next 5 full moons looking at the mechanics of what makes a human being joyful and exuberant. What is the mechanics? What one needs to do? The word vayu literally means that which moves, generally referred to the air. Right now here, the air is moving with force, you can't miss it. It's moving a lot of things along with it. So this aspect which we refer to as vayu is that which moves, it's also an element. Within the body, in a fundamental way, it manifests as 5 basic vayus. Well, if you want to understand it a little more profoundly, it becomes 10. If you want to know every intricacy about it, it becomes 84. But they're too subtle. You will have to spend lifetimes of focus to figure these things out. Generally, if you get the 5 vayus in place and on, the other things will naturally fire up and function by themselves. What these vayus means is, because they move everything in the system. Your digestive fires, if they have to move, these panchavayus are needed. Circulation must happen, nutrients must spread across the body, wastes have to be removed from the cellular level. For everything to happen, you need movement. If you stop the movement, then you will see the body will not be able to sustain life. So whether the flow is full flow or is it a restricted or constipated flow, this is the aspect we are looking at. To breathe in the right way, if you watch a child, you would see if a child is asleep, you will see child breathes in such a way, the breath is largely between pit of the throat to the navel. He doesn't expand the lower belly, he just here and here, not this. Some adults might have developed the habit of breathing through the entire belly. Well, if this happens, inertia will come into the body. If you generate gases below the navel, that is, if you eat certain types of foods, well, we've gone through this for those of you who've been in engineering. If you eat too much of tuberous material like potatoes and other tuberous substances, you will generate gas which is below the navel. Once you generate gas there, your prana between the navel and the pit of the throat will not function as it should, and the dynamism levels in your system will go down. This is one reason those who wish to meditate, those who are students and those who need to focus their mind and stay awake for long periods of time, they should not eat those substances. Another reason this is happening across the world today is, as the world or as the fools think they are becoming more and more modern, their food gets older and older and older. Fresh food is for the uncivilized. If you're very civilized, you must go to a superstore, buy a box, it has a plastic wrap, take it and throw it, knowing fully well it cannot be biodegraded, and the can is made of something else, usually plastic or aluminum or whatever. From that, if you want, you can heat it in the microwave, which is one more bad thing you're doing, and eat. This may be minimum 3 months old. No, it was in the refrigerator. It is preserved. And they have put preservatives so that it doesn't go bad. That is a double mistake. Now, in the yogic tradition, if you cook anything, maximum within 1.5 hours you must consume it. If there are certain types of items, up to 4 hours is okay. Beyond that, you don't touch. It doesn't matter how tasty it is, how nice it is, you don't touch anything because then you will develop gases in the system. Gas is not only in the stomach that you will feel obviously, but you will develop vayus in the system which will work against your pranavayu. That means your respiratory action and your thought process and your sense of smell will get lowered over a period of time. These three are very vital for you to be a vibrant